today to chat with you briefly about really bringing in the new kind of leadership in the new paradigm as a conscious entrepreneur and recognizing your role as a conscious entrepreneur, solopreneur, to bring forward into the new paradigm the consciousness that you're here to share and to bring forward the consciousness in a whole new way in the new paradigm. And I want to just chat briefly about this because when we recognize that the old paradigm was a fear-based I, me, mine, control paradigm that was based on profit to the harm, detriment, or expense of another, and the new paradigm is based on us, we, and ours, and what's for the good of all with harm to none. Yes, these are the platforms for shifting consciousness in a sense. Now, what makes you shift is your energy, your vibration, and your consciousness. So if you are a conscious solopreneur, entrepreneur, or if you run a not-for-profit organization such as an animal rescue organization or animal charity or any charity or animal, or it's children, women. I have a lot of people in my community who service and support animals, children, women, natural resources of the earth. Whatever it is that your service is about, shifting from old paradigm to new paradigm requires you first to be aware of what this shift is all about. So the old paradigm was I, me, mine, us, rather than I, me, mine is about just what's good for me. I don't care who I hurt or harm. And the old paradigm was about fear, right? Fear, manipulation, always trying to manipulate or control people through the process of utilizing some form of fear or worry or creating some kind of doubt. Another thing that old entrepreneurs or solopreneurs might have used in that old paradigm was what we call big brother marketing tactics. You have 2 minutes to decide right now, this offer goes away, it's gone. Like that whole old energy, right? If you were a not-for-profit, in the old paradigm, you might show all kinds of things that were being done to animals that were harmful, or you try to manipulate people. An old paradigm animal organization, for example, would try to manipulate people through their pain, to get them to donate. That's an example. A not-for-profit might have done that. They might try to manipulate people by showing painful, horrible things to pull on their heartstrings or to get them to emotionally engage. That's a tactic of manipulation. Another tactic of manipulation in the old paradigm, and then we'll switch over to new paradigm. We can see it all the time in the mass media, in the news, in the commercials, where there's some form of manipulation about the fear of getting sick, the fear of getting ill, the fear of you're going to lose all your money, you're going to lose your house. Like all those kinds of things are manipulations to get people to be afraid to take some kind of action, right? That's old paradigm. New paradigm is all about recognizing that you're choosing what's for the good of all, including self. So it's not I, me, mine. It's us, we, ours. And so this new paradigm energy is about inspiration. It is about inspiring others. It is about leading others. It's about helping others and recognizing that as you help, serve, and contribute in ways that are inspiring and uplifting for the good of all, including self, that this will benefit the whole. This will be more beneficial, positively uplifting. Now, that does not mean, in between here, sometimes we get like trapped, right? That does not mean that we bring other people down. That does not mean that hello, Michelle, it's good to see you here. That does not mean in the middle of it, that there's two things that don't happen here in the middle zone. Number one, we don't get stuck in the all positives and only all positives and forced positivity trap, because that's not realistic, because we understand there is an amount and a degree of like pain and suffering that we have to work through, unconscious belief systems, self-sabotaging patterns, ways that we get in our way, things that are painful and upsetting that we have to process through, right? Traumas, upsets, mindset shifting that has to happen. And if we're trying to be all positive all the time, we will not be able to effectively do that. So same concept, law of attraction, it's not all positive all the time. That'll be a stopgap. Another thing we really have to reprogram ourselves in this middle zone as we're shifting from old paradigm to new paradigm is the way we hold ourselves back through our own pain and suffering, or through ways that we do not positively uplift others. So if someone else is having some kind of success and we can't cheer them on and say bravo to them, or be a cheerleader for others, we're holding ourselves and them back. And this is a stopgap. This is the middle zone, right? So if we see someone else's success and we can't be excited or enthusiastic for them, or we somehow get in the way by telling them there's something wrong or bad about what they're doing, or pointing out all their negative qualities or all the things they've done wrong, this is a stopgap in the middle zone. So now, new paradigm, we're shifting in, again, more into this positive inspiration, positively uplifting for the good of all, and at the same time recognizing people along the way need help and support, and it's not going to be all positive all the time. And sometimes we're the ones along the way that need help and support. And so we're recognizing that we still have to work with those shadow aspects. Shadow aspects are the things in our lives that are upsetting. So if you're, for example, an animal rescue organization, or if you're in a service-based business where clients are having a hard time, you still have to be recognizing those people are going to be having challenges, and they're not always going to be showing immediate success or immediate positivity all the time. And at the same time, you also recognize that those people in your community, if they're always bringing your community down, or if they're always dragging you down, if they're still stuck in that middle zone all the time of continuous negativity, there may be a more appropriate place for them, right? So these are kind of like the zones, right, of the new paradigm as we're shifting as conscious entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and service-based humans. This is what we're talking about. So if you're a service-based human who truly is in service and recognizing new paradigm is based on service to the greater good of all, or at least service to the greater good of all. For me, it's even a whole new level. It's about service to the light, service to my source. But that's because I've chosen a spiritual-based process in my life work, right? So you have to kind of decide for yourself. Hi, Therese. It's good to see you there. So you have to decide for yourself, really, who you're going to be and how you're going to show up in your life. I've been talking about this for a long time. If you're an entrepreneur, solopreneur, or someone who's in service in any way, are you going to show up in old paradigm way of being? So old paradigm way, I, me, mine, I just want to make money. I don't care who I hurt, who I harm, how I have to manipulate them to get money, right? Big pharmas like this, they are doing all kinds of ads. Basically you can see their ads are basically promoting sickness, illness, and fear, and they try to throw in like some nice positivity in there to sort of reel you in. And the positivity is usually some kind of butterfly or some kind of rainbow or some kind of football game, or you're playing football with your son and you're living a great life. But really, it's all about manipulation, right? Middle zone, when you're making that shift, is you're in the negativity. You're striving usually to catch yourself up, to lift yourself up. But in the striving, you have to be very mindful that you're not bringing other people down, because then they're going to be like, oh, okay, this is a little too heavy for me, right? This is a little too much for me. And at the same time, you want to be, as you're striving, you want to be elevating and lifting not only yourself up, but others too. How can you be more of that? So you're shifting into this new paradigm, because there is a shifting period. So shifting period is always where you're asking, who do I want to be and how do I want to show up? What do I want to bring forward so that I can be a positive service positive contribution to the world around me, to the people around me, to the animals around me, to the earth around me. New paradigm is you're there, you understand, you're in service, you're in contribution, you're in the new energies, you recognize it's not all positive all the time, but your true divine or your true desire is that you will be recognizing that you're here to contribute, and it's about us, we, and ours. It's about what's for the good of all. How can I show up in this world in a way that feels good and right to me, meaning anyone? How can I make my life a better representation in my world, in my life, of what really I'm looking to bring forward into this new paradigm? And how can I allow myself to be a beacon of light for others who are finding their way too? And so if you're in a service-based industry, you're likely already there. And the challenge then in this place is, how do I continue to stay positive and uplift people positively while still working on and recognizing that not everybody's there? There are shadow aspects that I still need to work through within self and with others. Now, those are the three kind of energetics associated with shifting, right? So old paradigm, kind of middle zone where you're shifting, and then new paradigm. And there's overlap. It's not a linear process, right? Because you sometimes hop back and forth in between them, working to kind of make sure you get anchored in. The way you get more and more anchored in to the new paradigm is that you're developing more and more of the core virtues, the virtues that are required to really anchor you in here. Now, what are those virtues? The virtues are the energetic structures. What is an energetic structure? An energetic structure is that your entire way of being and feeling in life is that overall you're becoming the energy. You're becoming the energy of these virtues. What are the virtues? And what is the difference with the energy? This is a really great example, right? So we have these virtues that we're developing, and we have to develop them in partnership, in tandem with anchoring in energetic structures, right? What are the energetic structures and what are the virtues? Energetic structures are vibration of energy that we literally embody. We embody them, we become them. The energetic vibrations of the very virtues. And I'm going to explain this more, so stay with me. But we must become these energetic vibrations. We must become the energy of the virtues we're developing. So the virtues are virtuous qualities that are very typical, that are the norm in the new paradigm. So virtues such as divine flow. Let's start with that one. That's a really good one. In the old paradigm, a virtue, by contrast, would be control. Someone's trying to control. Someone's trying to force. So in an old paradigm example, someone misses an appointment, you get angry, you get pissed off, you get irritated, you get upset. Someone does something that you don't like, you get angry, you get upset, you retaliate. Even in an old paradigm, you might send something hateful out or something else to further try to control, dominate, or manipulate. In new paradigm, flow would be like, okay, I'm good with this. No problem. I'm going to adjust. The appointment was shifted. The person's late. Something didn't work out the way I wanted. I'm just going to say that this somehow is in service and there must be something better. And you start thinking and behaving differently in accordance with more flow. Oh, I guess I'm just being realigned. I'm going to just move in a better direction. That's an example of a virtue, divine flow. Someone did something you don't like, you immediately go to, okay, maybe they didn't realize. Maybe they weren't thinking. What's their point of view? That's another thing in the new paradigm. What might be their point of view? We become more understanding. We broaden our perspective. I might have in the past felt this way or thought this way, But now I'm thinking, well, maybe there's a bigger perspective here. Maybe there's a wider perspective. Maybe there's something I'm not seeing or perceiving. I open my mind. What else might there be? Right? That's an example of divine flow. We start changing our behavior in accordance to divine flow. We allow. So we recognize that there's something new and different that needs to be allowed to be shifted or moved, because we can't control every single thing, situation, scenario, or outcome. And the energetic structure of it is, it's not like we're all tight in our body, like angry, resistance, reacting, resentful. We're instead embodying the flow energy by breathing, resting, allowing, and flowing. Right? That's a totally different energy. Breathing, resting, allowing, flowing. Knowing that all is well. Choosing to know that all is well. So divine flow is a virtue, and the energetic flow in this example is just breathing, trusting, allowing, knowing all is well. And the consciousness shifting from old paradigm to new paradigm is, I'm recognizing that old way I might have been in the past, and I'm shifting it now energetically to a new way of recognizing there's a better way of being. And in fact, I'm going to just use my consciousness to invite in energetically that something better could be available. So we recognize in new paradigm, we don't have all the answers all the time, but we know more of the answers become more available as we align with the higher, pure frequencies, which in this example is just flow and allowing. So let me give some more examples of this, because hopefully this is helping. And if you are finding this helpful, please do share the video, especially after we're over it. Invite other people so other people can benefit too, and invite other people to the expansion experience. So, okay, let's give another example of how we start embodying more of the divine virtues and the different kinds of energies, right? Because again, new paradigm is a different energetic structure based on newer virtues, or divine virtues, we could call them. So in the new paradigm, these virtues are lighter, more flowy, more uplifting. These virtues, these energies, they're more overall positive, lighter. They feel good. We don't get trapped and stuck in the density of the pain and suffering of that old paradigm, right? So virtues, another example of a virtue in a new paradigm could be more, a good example, of course, is like understanding, greater understanding or greater compassion. Let's do this one. This one's lighting up in a big way. Self-reflection. Very, very important. Self-reflection. So old paradigm, usually what happens in old paradigm, when we're behaving in accordance with old paradigm, someone or something bothers us or upsets us, and we immediately start to manufacture in our brain all of the reasons of the other person or the situation being wrong. There's always wrongness in old paradigm. Everything's wrong. Someone did something wrong to us, or we did something, or something happened that was wrong. Everything's wrong. Things are right and wrong. Even if it's a relationship with God in the old paradigm, people believe that someone did a sin or someone was wrong. There's a game of tit for tat. So we always are looking at, and usually in old paradigm, what we do is we go to another person to validate us in our judgment of the wrongness. So we look for another person to agree with us in that old paradigm, to kind of create this allied experience. Well, we both agree that person was wrong, or we both agree that thing was wrong. So something horrible happens and everybody, like if you're an animal rescue organization, we can all agree the wrongness of what's been done to animals. Or we can all agree, if you're in a child, some kind of child support organization, we can all agree there's some perpetrator, some abuser, and they're wrong, they're bad. So we can go on and on about that in the old paradigm, right? But in the new paradigm where we start taking responsibility, and in order to take responsibility, this is the mid zone, we start doing more reflection. Again, same kind of situation. What is it I'm not seeing? What is it I'm not perceiving? How can I expand my point of view to recognize that there's another perspective here? So as we elevate ourselves into new paradigm, we no longer make someone else wrong. Instead, we start saying, what was my role here? What was my role in this? How did I contribute to this situation? What was it in me that contributed or caused or created or participated or collaborated or attracted this situation to me? What was it within me? And this is not about making fault or blame, because there's no wrongness here. It's about saying, my choice is to not repeat that old experience. And so in order for me to not repeat that old experience, I must self-reflect. And also my choice is not to remain in that old paradigm where I made somebody else wrong or blamed them. So in order for me to not stay in that old paradigm, I'm going to need to self-reflect to see how I put myself in that place. Because in the new paradigm, I have to be willing to self-reflect. What was it within me that caused, contributed, attracted, created, that situation, circumstance, or scenario? And so you see how by doing this self-reflection, you're kind of moving through the we call it fourth dimension sometimes, that mid-zone. But at the same time, the new way of operating is recognizing I take responsibility for my situation. I take responsibility for what happened by reflecting, by self-reflecting and recognizing I can change. I can change. And as I change, so too will my experiences. And as I improve, so too will the situations and circumstances of my life. And as I am willing to self-reflect and self-review, so too will my life improve. Now, that becomes the energetic virtue. The virtue is self-reflection. That is a quality. That is a way of behaving. Being willing to self-reflect. Being willing to take self-responsibility. And again, this is not about blame. This is about empowerment, right? Huge, huge difference. Empowerment is not the same thing as blame. So this is another example of a divine virtue. In the old paradigm, we would blame. We would blame someone else. We could blame God for punishing us. We could blame we could blame ourselves for sinning in the old paradigm. In the new paradigm, we recognize that the divine is helping us to free and liberate ourselves, to help us to heal and resolve our issues so that we don't have to repeat it. And this is about empowerment. We become empowered because we realize self-responsibility is a form of freedom. That's another virtue, divine freedom. These are virtues, self-responsibility, divine freedom, right? We don't get locked down in a new paradigm. We don't get locked. We see other people getting locked down. We see they might be playing that game, but we recognize every door in the new paradigm, there's always more doors. Doors keep opening energetically. There's always more options. There's always more possibilities. There's always more potentials. In old paradigm, we're lack and limitation. That's the energy. Not enough money, not enough love, not enough friends, not enough solutions, not enough resources, not enough, not enough, not enough. New paradigm, not like that at all. There's always a new opportunity. There's always a new possibility. There's always a new door that opens. There's always a new solution. You don't get locked down. You say, I want something else. Show me something else. What else is possible? Other things. Start presenting. New people come into your life. New ways of doing things, new ways of being. If you're an entrepreneur or a solopreneur, for example, my old way of being an entrepreneur and a solopreneur wasn't working for me anymore. I leveled up. I hired a coach. I got taught and trained on how to do things in a new and better way. Now I'm working with a whole new group of incredible people, like these incredible people who are doing the same. They're leveling up, they're stepping up, they're really engaged, they're really excited, they're really optimistic, they're looking forward to their lives, they're participating, they're bringing forward new energies. It's so expansive, right? This is what happens as we shift. There's no limitation here. I talked about this in last week's call about the 40th floor. If you didn't catch that video, take a look at that. It's on this page. So these new doors and new potentials open. Why? Because the energetics are lighter here. We're in much more lightness. We're not in that heaviness of lack, limitation, not enoughness. We're in the new energy. It's a lighter energy. And so we take responsibility because we recognize we're choosing to be more empowered. So these are virtues: self-empowerment, divine empowerment. And the energy is, the way we make that shift is through our own conscious willingness, taking responsibility, reviewing, reflecting. How did I create that so that I don't do it again? And we call upon the energy. We learn to use the energy of the divine, which is anything that is what we call, you've heard the saying a bazillion times, higher, pure, lighter vibrations, right? Higher vibration is what people call it, raising your vibration. We learn how to use the energy to move it through our bodies in a conscious way and to shift the way we behave into new ways of behaving and divine virtues that allow us to behave in a whole new way. This further supports and assists, by the way, as we do this, the people around us, because whether we're serving our clients, our customers, our animals, our audience, whoever they are, the people around us, or even just our inner family, or just our workplace, our environment, our energy is shifting. The way we're thinking and behaving is shifting, and other people around us, this two things start to happen. One of two things. I mean, there's some others, but generally speaking, either the people around you are start to recognize and say, wow, you're making some incredible shifts. I want more of what you've got. How do I do that? So then you become an inspiration to those around you. Or generally speaking, the people around you start to leave your field. Either you release them or they release you, because they're not willing to recognize the change in you. And you start saying, well, I no longer want to be weighed down by this weight. I've had that happen. I no longer want to be weighed down. This person's welcome to come with me, but I'm not willing to get weighed down by them. And this is when that person's stuck in that middle zone, right? Maybe they're stuck in the middle zone, or maybe they're stuck in old paradigm. But because you become lighter, the people around you are being affected too. Now, if you're in an intimate relationship with someone, such as a spouse or a partner, in this case, maybe that other person is going to benefit in a great way by the change taking place in you, especially if you have a very strong foundational relationship. I have a client, has been a client and student for many years, come on many of my retreats and done lots and lots of the work with me, and her partner is not as into this kind of woo-woo world. And one of her fears early on was that she didn't want, anything to disrupt their relationship. She was worried, afraid even, about her spiritual growth. She was worried that meant they might have to have a divorce if she kept growing. She didn't want to lose that relationship. And that does not have to happen. I just want to reassure you that definitely does not have to happen, because as you shift, as you grow, as you elevate, your gifts for helping others improve too. So in that case, the partnership can only grow and evolve and become even more intimate and more deep. And you have so much more to offer your spouse, because when you have a great relationship, it's only going to keep growing and expanding. I have another student, client student, who also has been in many of my online webinars and workshops over the years. And her partnership with her spouse developed into a business partnership, because as she was growing as a healer, as a spiritual mentor to others, he started to realize he needed First of all, he saw her success in business, and their desire to grow her business became more united because she was really succeeding in her business. But also what was happening was that as she was growing, he started to realize he was falling even more in love with her beauty, her light, her love that she was bringing forward. So their relationship got even stronger. So I just want to reassure you, even though you're going to be shifting more and more and changing, this does not mean the relationships that are not serving you tend to drop out more and more, but the relationships that are truly aligned will likely grow stronger, more richer, more deeper. Does it mean there's not some bumps along the way? No, it doesn't mean that. There are very oftentimes some bumps along the way, but that's what that middle zone is. The middle zone is where we're growing. Now, I hope this is making sense. So it's old paradigm, new paradigm, middle zone. We could refer to old paradigm as third dimension. People often do. I used to refer to it that way all the time, but it's almost like it's a little too woo-woo. It doesn't matter, because the truth of it is, you could talk about the middle zone as 4D, and you could talk about new paradigm as 5D. But the truth of it is that it's just energetic shifting. And not only is it energetic shifting, but it's also change in behavior, change in way of being. So when people perceive things from their perspective about the reality they live in, you understand who and where they're coming from. What they're sharing is based on their perspective and their energy and where they are. And if they're not already hanging out here in this new paradigm, they're probably not people you should be listening to. They're probably not people that you should be following. They're probably not people you should be taking advice from, because they have a very limited perspective in that reality, right? And so we could talk about businesses and corporations as an entrepreneur, as a solopreneur, or as a service-based business, or even as a charity or not-for-profit. You can see how groups, organizations, and businesses in that old paradigm, if they're coming from that, they're probably not people, groups, or organizations you should be listening to. It's very likely those organizations will continue to either get darker, as we saw that in 2020, extreme darkness in big pharma, extreme darkness, the willingness to literally inflict the worst kind of pain and suffering, right? We saw that in big tech. Big tech was willing to promote lockdown, for example, so that they could profit financially, because of course big tech profited. We saw this in lots of governmental organizations, on and on. We don't need to go there, but we realized that as those of us shifted more and more into the light, those things really didn't affect us or harm us personally, and we were able to be of service more and more to the greater good. More and more doors open, more and more opportunities present, right? So we want to make sure you're, as an entrepreneur, solopreneur, business, or just a person in your business world at work, however you're doing your work, that you're making sure you're always shifting energetically, vibrationally into this new paradigm way of being and operating, by working with these new virtues, by inviting in more and more of these virtues into your way of being, and recognizing this way of changing the way, literally the way you are, literally the way you be, so you can show up as the best version of yourself, so you can really bring forward into this earth, into your life, the best version of you, so that you can go to sleep every night with your head on the pillow feeling good, feeling these new energies of optimism and excitement and enthusiasm, because those things are here. They are available. And as I say, doors continue to keep opening as you elevate your vibration. This is why people say all the time, I want to elevate my vibration. They don't necessarily understand why or what it means. If you're a solopreneur or an entrepreneur who's having trouble making money, or having trouble getting new clientele, or having trouble expanding your audience or your reach, chances are that that's happening because you're playing in the old paradigm, or in some middle zone here where there's all kinds of struggle going on. And the way you're going to elevate some of the examples I just gave is what's going to shift you where more doors open and more potential start being realized. By the way, if you are an organization that serves animals, as a lot of the people and groups who work with me and follow me are, organizations that serve animals, then you really want to understand this too, how it reflects the animals and children too. Okay. If you serve children, such as babies, you're an organization that maybe is a not for profit that serves children or babies. You want to start really recognizing what energy are those animals or those babies, because they're the super sensitives of the world. They are so sensitive, right? They're energetic sponges. You want to be recognizing where are and how are these living beings being energetically affected by what I'm bringing forward into my group or organization. Even if you're an employee, how are the people around me being affected by me, right? That's part of making that shift to taking responsibility for your own energy, for your own vibration, for what you're sharing and offering in the world. How are the people around me being affected by me? How am I affecting them and the animals? Because if you're here to help animals, let's say you're a foster parent, you foster animals, or you're maybe even a foster parent who fosters a human, possibly. You're or if you're a mommy or a daddy, right? Your children are feeling the energy, whether it's a dog or an animal child or a human child. Those of us who have animals, we see our animals as our children, right? So how are they feeling in relationship to my energy, right? Because you shifting your energy is also going to shift how they are feeling things too, because we're all sharing energetic space, right? So that's part of shifting into new paradigm, recognizing as I shift my energy, those around me shift too. They feel that, they pick that up. So this is part of why we want to raise our vibration, right? When people say they want to raise their vibration, they don't really understand. It's the real reason that you want to raise your vibration is because your experiences are going to change for the better. You're going to help more and more people around you to lift and elevate. You're going to support the earth in its shifting and changing. And most of all kinds of new doors, opportunities, and potentials are going to present to you that are way more positive, way more desirable, way more to your liking. And by the way, doors that are not for your most benevolent best, including relationships, including people, will start to close behind you. Recently, I had someone that I thought was a friend for many years. I thought she was a friend, but I was always giving her healings. She had an issue with her leg. I did a healing on her leg. Her daughter or stepdaughter had an issue with her cat in the hospital, emergency. I did all kinds of reading for her on that. There were lots of times she was going through some relationship issues with her spousal partner who there was infidelities there. I was listening for a lot of time there, and I felt that the scales of that relationship dynamic were getting very imbalanced, very unhealthy for me, because I was starting to feel that the dynamics just weren't feeling like there was a good healthy balance. And I started to notice there was a bit of a resentment in me, and I started to know I had to take responsibility for changing that. And I put a little bit of a stop in that relationship. I put a little bit of distance. I did the change inside so that I got to that point of total forgiveness, total acceptance, and thinking oh, okay, we can just kind of go back to sort of, I can meet her in a new place because I still love her. And I can meet her in this new place and we can recalibrate and realign here. But the old version of her showed up. And I realized I have changed so much now that I can no longer be that for her anymore. And she's not willing to rise up. She's not even able to see this new version of me. So that relationship was released. But the beautiful part is, in truth, we both released it in love. We both recognized that relationship had come to an end. And we were both, because she's playing in her own middle zone here. So you see, even when relationships do separate or doors do close, because I recognized that those patterns, I do not want to repeat them anymore. So we still do recognize that relationships can go, things can end, doors close behind us, but they can happen in a much more benevolent way as well. Much more benevolent way. So I'm kind of all about here, but that's because it's alive. It's just fun. And if there are questions below, or for those of you in the expansion experience who want to post questions, please know my desire and intention is to continue to address your needs and desires in here, because so many people, when I was running the expansion experience, which was like just such an exciting and fun experience for me, and so wonderful for me that whole time, not just for me, but there were so many people involved and so many people participating, but so many people were saying they wanted more help. That was my desire in doing these live calls, that people could ask for the things they want. And as you post those questions, I will do my best to address them in future live events and live webinars. I'm going to do these on a weekly basis. And so if you post questions in here, and obviously, I can't do private readings, but if you post questions in generalities, in ways that are general, so that I can address them for the group here, I will be more than happy. In fact, somebody has been asking a lot on a private feed, a DM, about what to do about entities. I don't mind addressing that. It's not something I play with anymore. I don't have entities in my field ever. I never have them in my field anymore. But I'm more than happy. I have a whole class on that called Dark Arts Training, which is all about clearing anything negative. It really is a healing class. It's an amazing class. Dark Arts Training and Psychic Self-Defense, but that is in there. But I'm happy to address that in a future call if more of you let me know that's something that you want to know about. I think I covered enough now. I'm going to start to wrap today, but please do post any questions. Make sure they're general in the sense that everyone can benefit from them. And I will do my absolute best to address them going forward. And please share this video with others who will benefit. It really helps me to do the work that I love and to get it out there to more people. And in the meantime, I'm going to be sharing in the next few weeks, definitely preparing for the new year and getting us set up for success for the new year ahead, as more and more people will be elevating into this new paradigm. More and more people will be awakening in consciousness. More and more people will be shifting and realizing. More and more people are desiring to develop these virtues and these qualities and to work with energy. And of course, this is everything I teach about and share about. It's really about how you can show up as the best version of you and align with your highest fulfillment in this lifetime and really bring forward the gifts that you're meant to bring forward into the world, that you're meant to share and contribute in this world, which is part of you being the best version of you. So I hope this has been helpful to you. Thank you guys. Thanks for Therese and Michelle for being here with me live. And please do share this and like it and let me know in the comments what else you want to hear more about. And in the meantime, I'm going to sign off for now. I love you so much. I'm sending you all my love. Okay. Farewell for now. Bye-bye.